Finnair is that beautiful sweet spot between price, comfort and experience that marinates into a beautiful way to travel. The seat is revolutionary, and whilst there's some criticism online, we believe it might be the best seat we've experienced. With cuisine that's both tantalising and tasty, and with plenty of routes towards Asia, they should be on your bucket list. Good morning from a very cold Helsinki, Finland. There's absolutely massive piles of snow everywhere which are being cleared up, and apparently summer is, well, non-existent. This is our second time flying Finnair, after discovering they were operating the beauty that is the Airbus A350 on the route from Amsterdam to Helsinki, and so impressed with the experience we wanted to see what the long-haul service was like. FYI, it was so good, as you're about to see, we went back for more, with a future trip planned in premium economy just to hear that sweet music on the eye-catching and mesmerising safety video. I had a very comfortable sleep last night, just over the road, a 5-minute walk to the Hilton Hotel, and my luggage is already checked in for today's flight, so I have spare change of clothes and I am more than eager to visit the Finnair lounge, which is a very unique and certainly has a calm Finnish charm to it. If you do need to check your luggage, there is a separate priority area for passengers in business class or with one-world status. An immigration and security check was easy and quick. Once past immigration, the terminal has plenty of boutique cafes and interesting shops. And if you're a child of the 90s, you might remember a children's TV show called The Moomins, which have a few references around the airport. Helsinki Airport is split into two sections, with domestic or local flights on the right hand side and long-haul flights on the left. And this is where I need to be after we clear passport control. I will just add as an interesting fact wide-body aircraft cannot park at domestic gates. So with the flight from Amsterdam being part of the Schengen area, this means the Airbus A350 on that route has to park in the international section, with passengers then taken by bus to the relevant point. If you don't like stairs, you're not going to have a very good time, but it's fun for us aviation enthusiasts to step off the back of a huge airplane and down the stairs. Finnair has two lounges, with the obvious one being the Sapphire or Business Class lounge. Purely though for the benefit of those with one-world Emerald status, something I may not have much longer due to the major shake-up in British Airways with the loyalty programme. So I'm going to enjoy the lounge while I still can. I'm pretty much snacking because in a few hours I'll be boarding the flight over to Bangkok, and I have really fond memories from last time, so I want to keep space to try everything. The selection in the Emerald Lounge is really similar to the business class, with the notable difference being the perhaps slightly controversial deer burger. It tastes delicious, so I guess I've made my peace with eating one. Apologies for the vegetarians if you're watching the video. So because it's midday, it's sort of in their quiet period, so there's so much choice of where to sit because there's only about 20 people in here at most. If you come in the early morning or late in the evening, it's absolutely different and it's absolutely rammed in here. The view out the window can be very enchanting, especially when the ground is covered in snow. And as much as I would love to sit in this very comfortable chair and probably have a nap, I must visit the other lounge so you can see the full experience. Both lounges have shower facilities and a manned bar and buffet restaurant, so in principle they're exactly the same. But I forgot to mention this and I've never actually used it, the Emerald Lounge also has a sauna. What I do find really considerate is that the back wall is actually made of a huge dark blue curtain that creates a little bit of theatre and magic. I'm not exactly sure how easy it is to sleep upright, but it's the thought that counts. Before leaving the lounge, be sure to check out the display case, which is similar to the one at the Virgin Atlantic Clubhouse in London, exhibiting uniforms and memorabilia from the past, celebrating over 100 years of service. I think we can agree that was such a pleasant, calm and relaxing experience, exactly what you want just before a flight. I'm sorry to mention it again, but if you have One World Sapphire or Emerald status, then the next part doesn't apply to you. But if you don't, then this next section is definitely worth watching. Finnair is part of a small number of airlines that have introduced business light fares. You need to consider whether for £150 less one way, if you can go without priority services and boarding, lounge access and a checked bag. Otherwise you'll need to go for Business Classic, with Business Flex allowing you to completely cancel the ticket. Alpha Yankee 141 departs Helsinki at 13:45 and should cover 4,901 miles, over to Bangkok, arriving at the not great time of 5:25 the next morning. Finnair has been particularly affected by the sanctions over Russia, and given how extensive its network is to Japan, South Korea and Thailand, just to name a few, it costs the airline extra fuel and flight time. Priority passengers get their own little section, and I'm happy to tell you that boarding started right on time. Finnair only has the smaller Airbus A350-900 variant in the fleet, but there are two different versions. Today's is operated with the higher density version in Business Class. Laid out in a 1-to-1 configuration over 8 rows with the easy choice of the centre section or the window. With an extra 3 rows of Business Class, technically 4 because of 9 Lima, after the second door, which on the less dense version would be occupied by Premium Economy. Welcome back on board. Last time it was a short flight from Amsterdam to Helsinki. So excited to be back on board. And that's because there is something so calm about this product. Maybe it's the rich dark blue and the cocoon shape of the seat that makes the seat feel almost nurturing. It probably sounds a little bit like, what? But you simply have to try it and you'll see what I mean. Let's have a seat tour. The seat is really unique, and it's the only one of its kind, because there's absolutely no moving parts, which might feel a little unnatural to frequent travellers who are expecting at least a button to recline. Questions, the cabin crew assure me there are plenty of extra pillows to support yourself, but I feel that the 2 that come with the seat are more than enough. Finnair decided not to go down the route of having a door, and to be honest, it would be totally wasted. The curvature of the seat is so large you will probably feel like the only person on the plane, and combine that with the staggered layout and the privacy is excellent. To my left is a hidden compartment, which has a small amount of storage, the in-flight entertainment controller, the head jack and both USB-A and C ports. A universal plug socket is also below the seat, but you won't need any of these because there's a built-in wireless charger in that tantalising wood effect side table. And unless you fancy reading a book, there is no point looking above, because Finnair did not install air vents. On the route from Amsterdam, I was provided with some Apple-esque in-ear white earbuds, which were more than adequate. But on the long-haul route, the headphones are beefy and really good quality from Pytech, who produce premium in-flight noise-cancelling headphones for airlines. The in-flight entertainment screen looks like it's a wall-mounted TV, and it's a very reasonable 18 inches and full HD. Have to admit I was binge-watching the second series of The White Lotus, whose star is Jennifer Coolidge, and I think she's such a lovable character. It's full of sex, murder and some awkward moments that will grip you to your seat. The moving map is wonderfully interactive, and despite the financial pressure on Finnair, there was still a very wide range of movies and TV shows. Perhaps not quite as generous as some other airlines, but more than enough for my return flight to Bangkok. The amenity kit is visually really beautiful, and I wonder if the colours are a little Northern Light-esque. If that's so, that's really clever. Unfortunately the contents are few, with the toothbrush which is bamboo, thumbs up for the environment, earplugs, and the highlight being the eye mask, which isn't your usual boring black. 2 pillows were already waiting for me at the seat, and you also get slippers which are nice in a natural cotton grey, and the duvet which is black with white stripes, sort of a motif. When requesting a welcome drink, if you like your juices, it would be a mistake not to get the blueberry juice, which once you realise after flight you can never have again, it's also available from IKEA, just so you know.
Hello and welcome on board Finnair. Before departure, we require your full attention for a moment. Our safety depends on both our crew and on you. We are here to ensure your safety on board. It's essential that you always follow the instructions given by the crew. In the event of an emergency, here are the things you need to know.
The meal from Amsterdam was extremely impressive for a 2-hour flight, so my expectations are fairly high. Here's a copy of the menu that was available on board. I've also realised that a lip balm and a body lotion are also available on request from the crew, to go with that cute amenity kit. The meal service begins with a refreshing hot towel and a bowl of nuts, before looking into the drinks menu. I've requested a glass of the Joseph Perrier Cuvée Royal Brut. I do like a nice glass of something alcoholic, but it's not a regular occasion for me, but I do appreciate what makes a good list, and Finnair's is pretty extensive. For the starter we have salmon tataki, with pickled vegetables in a wasabi dressing and roasted sesame seeds, with beef cheek with lamb, beef and sausage, corn puree with roasted potatoes and a balsamic Madeira sauce for the main. I can already tell someone is going to say this doesn't look like a meal worthy of business class, but I've seen meals which look amazing and have very little taste, and this was not one of them. I have absolutely no issue with the meals served on one tray together, finishing with the apple pie with cinnamon and mascarpone mousse, which looks like it belongs on a deconstructed Michelin star restaurant meal. I could have chosen wine, but I decided to wash down the meal with a Northern Blush, which is a sunset inspired cocktail made from local fruit the lingonberry with a splash of gin and orange peel, and it's delightfully fruity. Overjoyed with the meal service, and before the lights go down, I need to consider that unpleasant 5 AM arrival. I want to get a little more comfortable. Perhaps you've noticed the gap between the footwell and the chair itself. Not ideal to sleep on. A button raises the section closest to you with the remaining gap manually raised, on the opposite side creating a very flat, wide and comfortable bed, which is slightly angled but not in the awkward way on board Singapore Airlines, and at 26 inches in width, this is going to be a very comfortable 9 hours ahead. It's funny how hunger works on a plane, or maybe it's just the boredom. Either way, now on episode 4 or 5 of the White Lotus, my stomach was asked me what's next. Deciding to make the most of the time on my feet, feeling pretty comfortable, I made a quick stop in the bathroom, which is your modern A350 toilet, with some wonderfully smelling amenities, lavender or cedar with orange, and there's even a window which is pretty cool, but you obviously can't see out of it while you're sitting down. Looking in the galley, there's a wide variety of drinks available, and the cabin crew are more than happy to make you something. You could request a plate of different cheeses, with mango chutney and some local breads. But if your sweet tooth is commanding it, then you could have a slice of apple pie with cream. Luckily, I had both and I can tell you they were both very good. Wrapping myself in a duvet, I'm nice and comfy, and I've come to terms with sleep being impossible. It's okay though, because I have a day room booked for 7 AM, with the idea being to go straight to sleep, wake up mid-afternoon, then check into La Meridian for the next 2 days, with the artwork being some very holy dogs, a room with a gorgeous view, and a nice swimming pool. With the White Lotus getting weirder by the moment and more intense, the cabin crew have offered me a very refreshing blueberry tea. It may be 3 in the morning in Bangkok, but it's 2200 the previous night in Helsinki, which should help me sleep for a continuous 8 hours before I'm forced to check out. The cabin naturally raises into a wondrous pink hue that signals the morning and the beginning of breakfast. Being totally honest, I get really bored of seeing sausage, egg and bacon on a plane, preferring things like muesli and fruit. Finnair's Western option has scrambled eggs, roasted potatoes, mushrooms, butter beans, tomatoes, served with a variety of different breads. You can also have an option for a plate of different meats and cheese, with lettuce, a single gherkin and tomato, finishing with yogurts and honey and a mixed plate of fruit. Only 2 elements of the seat need to be retracted for landing, and not in my favour were arriving earlier than expected, which resulted in me waiting 30 minutes to check in, although it's better to be early than arrive late. Editing this video, I got little chills just remembering how fun and enjoyable the flight was, and I really hope that this comes across when I analyse the flight experience. So I'm just walking to pick up my bag, but what an incredible flight. I really do love Finnair, everything from the styling, the marketing, the colours, the sound they use on the videos, and the seat as well. I know not everyone's a fan of it. It's slightly angled, but that's sort of expected from business class if you kept flying Cathay Pacific, American Airlines. It doesn't really matter. It's sort of all the same, but it is so private, and I love the curve, which allows you to either sit upright, lie down, or somewhere in between. Food, exceptional, incredibly tasty. And even the biggest snob will probably be impressed by the design and taste of the food. And if you enjoyed the video, you know exactly what to do. And I look forward to seeing you on our future flight in premium economy. Thank you for watching.